Have you ever struggled with the feeling like no matter where you're at, you don't quite feel like you fit in? Like there's a distance between you and the people around you, and that there's an awkwardness to you? Well, today I'm here to talk about the difference between fitting in and belonging, and my personal journey into what true belonging is. My name is Natalie with the Wild Nature Channel. My channel is all about empowering, inspiring, and being a guide to people to come home to their truth, to their sovereignty, peeling back all of the layers of stories and constructs and conditioning to really come home to the heart of who you really are. Wait for the play. So today, in that journey of coming back to truth, I want to share a personal story about my own journey of belonging. So I spent the majority of my life feeling like I never quite fit in. I felt awkward in conversations, felt like there was always some kind of barrier. In younger years, I would use alcohol as a crutch to kind of like soften and lubricate the social nature within me and peel back the layer of anxiety and this feeling of kind of rubbing up against an edge anytime I was in social situations. And in my college years, I hit a really deep rock bottom. I had spent so much time in my high school years, college years, and even before then, really trying to fit in. So I began to really push down different aspects of who I was, my truth, the way that I laughed loud, was big with my expression, and began to put myself into a mold that my soul, my body, my personality didn't quite fit into. But it was that pretty little package that I felt would be accepted and would receive love from the world around me. And in doing so, year after year, the more that I tried to focus on the element of fitting in and being accepted by different social groups, I began to lose myself. And I hit a point in college where I fell into a really deep depression. I realized that I didn't even know who I was anymore. I didn't know what my purpose was. I was disconnected from my passions in life. And I really felt like I needed to do something about it. And I didn't know what that was. And it wasn't until after college that I really started to dive into many different facets of coming back home to myself. The first being reworking my self-concept, rewiring the way that I talk about myself and the things that I focus on, rather than focusing on the negative, beginning to focus on the things that I admired about myself. And then through later years, I dove into shadow work and somatics and began to really understand why it was that I never feel like I quite fit in. And it's because I was pursuing fitting in rather than belonging. And so I want to dive into what is fitting in, how is it different than belonging, aren't they the same thing? And my answer is no. So when I think about fitting in, it is an external focus. So you're trying to fit into something, fit into a container, fit into a group of people, fit into other people's ideologies, or fit into what other people believe to be true or find acceptable. And so in doing so, it is this outward focus. It is this focus on how can I change? How can I mold myself? How can I strip back these different parts of my truth so that the outer world will accept and love me? And in doing so, you're giving your power away. So rather than finding that belonging, which on the flip side, belonging is an internal focus. Belonging is an understanding that you are so connected to your truth, and you have found this authentic expression of who you are, and you've welcomed back all of these parts of yourself that may have previously been disowned, repressed, rejected in the effort to fit in. You begin to peel back the layers of untruth, the masks that you have, to bring home these different parts of who you are as a whole. Because as humans, we are multifaceted. We've got many different angles, we've got many different expressions, we've got many different emotions, many different parts of us. We're creatives, we're thinkers, it's vast. And to dumb down different parts of yourself, you will inherently feel like you don't belong because you have not belonged to yourself. You have not welcomed these parts of you back home to your wholeness through acceptance and seeking to understand, both the shadow and the light. The parts of you that lash out are just parts of you that you've repressed and pushed away. And as soon as you start to welcome them back and say, hey, I see you, what's up? I want to understand you. How can I get to know you? And treat them like that inner child where that was probably the age that part was suppressed. Like, hey, what's going on? Why are you acting in this way? Like, let me hold your hand and we can talk about it and have a cup of tea and settle it. Once we start to do that, it's like we begin to allow these parts of ourselves to evolve, to emerge, to unfold organically and mature alongside with us. And through doing so, the more we come into this deep acceptance of self, through seeing these parts of ourselves, and rather than being like, ugh, no, I want to avoid that, I'm going to push it away, I don't want to be that person, we flip it around and say, hey, welcome in, how can I understand you better? That is when we begin to cultivate true belonging. And the beautiful part about the difference between fitting in and belonging is fitting in is coming from a fractionated self. And belonging is coming from a whole self. And the more you bring back these parts of yourself to find the wholeness within your heart, within your unique blueprint, your unique expression, then you naturally begin to feel like you belong in the world. You may still be in awkward social situations, but there's like a confidence. There's a different way that you show up that people notice and they admire, or it triggers them. And that's okay too, because when you have that belonging within, then those triggers from other people don't faze you as much because you know that you belong. And when you know you belong, you don't try to fit into something that doesn't resonate, that doesn't align with you. And you kind of send out this signal into the world because you come to this place of self-acceptance, this knowing of belonging home to yourself, that it naturally begins to bring the people, the places, the situations, the opportunities into your life that will grow that sense of belonging, will grow that sense of deeper confidence within. And that has been a really beautiful part of my journey. And it's so interesting now to reflect. There are still some social situations where I'm like, yep, I'm the awkward one, just standing around, being the observer, like, not contributing to a conversation. You begin to notice, like, where are you trying to contribute because you want to be seen or you want to be accepted or loved? And where are you contributing because it actually feels authentic? And you can find this really deep comfort within being even the observer and not contributing anything. And the wild thing is that people will notice and admire that about you. I've had so many friends where I've spoken to them like, oh yeah, I felt really, awkward and out of place last night, and that's okay. Like, I have a comfort in that now. Like, I've owned my quirkiness, my weirdness, my sometimes awkwardness, and like, it's part of myself that I now love. And I've had friends reflect back to me like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you always seem so confident and like, you know who you are and you're embodied. And it's just because I've come back to this reclamation of my truth, rather than trying to mold and shift my truth to match the truth of others. And so I invite you to start to look at the ways that you are maybe constricting, confining, molding, shaping, distorting yourself to try to fit into the world around you. And ask yourself in those moments, does this feel real for me? Does this feel aligned for me? Why does this feel dissonant? Why does this feel off? And start to come home to your truth. Layer by layer, bit by bit, start to notice where you're shutting yourself off in order to be acceptable, in order to be palatable, and slowly start to peel those masks back by welcoming and loving yourself first. When we give our power to the world around us, to seek validation, to seek love, to seek acceptance, the truth is we'll never find it. We'll never find it out there. We may meet people along the way that do give us love, but if we haven't found that love for ourselves, if we haven't accepted ourselves and come to our wholeness and our belonging, there will be a wall between us and that love where we aren't truly able to receive it. And even though we're maybe flooded with love, we can't feel it because we haven't found that within ourselves. And so I invite you to start to reframe the way that you look at yourself. Start to focus on the things that you love about yourself. Start to notice different things that come up in your life that are triggers, different ways that you show up that you say are not like you or whatever it might be. And instead of pushing parts of you away, just turn it around and see if you can get curious. See if you can start to understand those different aspects of yourself. I recently posted an hour-long workshop that I had hosted here at this beautiful retreat center in Peru called Nimiakaya. And it's a workshop that goes a little bit deeper into this concept. So it's about an hour long with journaling prompts, embodiment exercises, and exploration and deepening of an understanding of the shadow and what it is, and how going into this work can really help you to cultivate this deeper sense of belonging. So if you feel called to dive a little bit deeper, highly suggest you check out that workshop that is posted on my channel. And yeah, welcome yourself home. Your truth is beautiful, no matter if someone else doesn't accept it. The more you come back to that, the more that you will feel like you belong, no matter where you are. So with that, I am sending you so much love. If you enjoyed this content, if you found it inspiring, if you found that it helped you on your journey, or maybe it's just like a new and interesting way to think about things, I would really appreciate like, comment what resonated for you, and share with anyone that you think this will land for, or anyone you think needs to hear it. And of course, if you like this content, I would really appreciate a subscription. There will be more of this content coming your way, and I look forward to sharing more of my journey, my process, in order to bring more support for you in your process, in your unfolding and coming home to your belonging. Thank you. Many blessings.